This lesson is going to be on hand position, so I've covered a little bit of this idea in the lesson called Holding Your Guitar. I'll just recap. When you're playing guitar, this hand just dangles over the top and rests on the strings or very close to the strings. So your right hand or your left hand if you're left-handed, but your strumming hand just rests on the strings. I've always got my hand on the strings, keeping them quiet. I'm under control of them, and I'm very close, ready to strike if I want to play something. So it shouldn't be out here, it shouldn't be down there, just resting on the strings, and then you're ready to strum or to pluck or whatever you're doing. So that's the right hand. The left hand is a little bit more complicated, but again, hopefully it's quite logical. What you want to do is you take your hand like that, and then you turn it round and you bend your wrist, so your hand should have all 5 of your fingers, including your thumb, pointing towards the sky. Your wrist should be bent, so everything's pointing up towards the sky, and you've got like a hole in there between your thumb and your fingers. And what happens is the guitar neck just sits in there, and your thumb should always be pointing towards the sky, just like your fingers. And if you look at where my hand is, everything's very close to the guitar. If you play the guitar with a straight wrist, what will happen is your fingers automatically go further away from the guitar like that. So if I'm playing like that and I want to play this note here, or any note for that matter, what happens is I've got further to travel. So the less you travel, the quicker you do it. So your hand position is very important for that. So your thumb's at the back, your wrist's bent, and everything's pointing towards the sky. So just make a hand like that, and then you put the guitar neck in there. And this hand should be just dangling over here, and this hand, your fingers should all be on very close to the guitar. Not always on the guitar, but it's very important that they're close. So that lesson was on your hand position. So the fundamentals, the basics are this hand over the top, and this hand in the position where your fingers are close to the guitar, and your wrist's bent, and everything's pointing towards the sky. Everything should be pointing up all the time. If your fingers sticking out like that, it's just further distance for you to travel to get to the fingerboard, which is where you're going to have to be. And even if you're not playing if you're just playing open strings, try not to have your hand too far away. Try and get into the habit of keeping your hand very close to the guitar at all times. So this was a lesson on hand position.